In the interplay of power, discourse, and governance, media emerges as a critical institution in shaping public consciousness and policy. In India, the media operates in a diverse and dynamic landscape, reflecting the pluralistic ethos of the country while also functioning within the constraints of governmentality. Drawing from Michel Foucault's concept of governmentality, this episode examines how media discourse shapes governance in India, and conversely, how governance influences media practices. Before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to our channel Sociopedia. Now let's first understand governmentality. Foucault's concept of governmentality emphasizes the art of governance beyond the state, encompassing various institutions, knowledge systems, and practices that regulate populations. Governmentality operates through discourse, a medium that structures knowledge and power, shaping how individuals perceive reality. Media, as a significant site of discourse, plays a pivotal role in producing and disseminating the narratives that guide public opinion and legitimize governmental authority. The media in India has evolved significantly since the colonial era. During the British rule, newspapers like Kesari and Amrita Bazar Patrika became platforms for anti-colonial discourse. Post-independence, media aligned itself with nation-building efforts, often promoting developmental narratives in line with state policies. However, liberalization in the 1990s marked a new era where private media houses gained prominence, leading to the commodification of information and a focus on sensationalism. Number 1. Media and surveillance. In contemporary India, media is intricately linked to surveillance mechanisms. The state's use of media for disseminating information, alongside its regulation of dissent, demonstrates a Foucauldian framework where the media acts as both a channel for state narratives and a tool for disciplining dissent. The revelation that Pegasus spyware was used in India to target journalists, activists, and opposition leaders highlights the convergence of surveillance and media control. The lack of transparency in investigating this issue points to the normalization of surveillance as a tool of governmentality. Equally, India's Aadhaar program, the world's largest biometric identification system, has sparked debates over privacy. Media coverage has often oscillated between promoting Aadhaar as a development tool and critiquing it as a surveillance mechanism. Government-friendly outlets have frequently downplayed privacy concerns, showcasing media's complicity in endorsing state surveillance. Therefore, media serves as a surveillance enabler, making surveillance appear participatory. Through programs such as Man Ki Baat, the Indian government not only disseminates its agenda, but also gathers public feedback, allowing for the micro-surveillance of citizen sentiment. Number 2. Mediatization of governance. The Indian government increasingly relies on media to mediate its relationship with the public. Campaigns like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or Clean India Mission and Digital India are heavily promoted through television, social media, and print platforms, demonstrating the government's ability to craft narratives that foster compliance and align public behavior with policy goals. These campaigns use Bollywood celebrities, cricketers, and social media influencers to amplify its message. News outlets and entertainment platforms echoed these narratives, creating a spectacle of participation. However, critiques of the program's ground-level execution often received minimal media attention, sidelining voices questioning its efficacy. Ayushman Bharat Health Scheme is another example. Government media and allied channels have presented it as a revolutionary welfare program, often masking structural challenges like insufficient funding and lack of infrastructure, aligning perception with state intentions. Equally, elections in India are heavily mediatized events. Campaigns like Ab Ki Baar Modi Sarkar and the Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra highlight how media discourse shapes voter sentiment. These campaigns rely not only on traditional media, but also on micro-targeted social media strategies, blurring the line between governance and spectacle. Number 3. Control over dissenting narratives. Media ownership in India is concentrated among a few corporate entities with close ties to political power. This nexus often results in the suppression of dissenting voices. Additionally, laws such as the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and the Information Technology Act have been used to regulate digital media, curbing freedom of expression under the guise of national security. For example, journalist Sadiq Kapan was arrested while covering the Hathras gang rape case, accused of attempting to incite unrest. Organizations like The Wire and NDTV have faced tax raids, legal suits, and social media harassment for publishing stories critical of the government. These actions highlight how the state uses both legal and extra-legal means to curtail media freedom. Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code 2021 require digital media platforms to remove content flagged by authorities and appoint grievance officers. Critics argue this fosters self-censorship among media outlets and represses dissent. Number 4. Media and public discourse. Media discourse plays a central role in constructing national, religious, and regional identities in India. For instance, news channels and social media have been instrumental in shaping narratives around contentious issues such as Citizenship Amendment Act and national security. Mainstream and digital platforms often reflect partisan divides, amplifying divisive rhetoric and fostering an us versus them narrative. This dynamic reinforces governmentality by enabling the state to manage dissent through fragmented opposition. Number 5. Algorithmic governance and micro-targeting. Political parties in India have extensively used platforms like Facebook and Twitter for targeted messaging. Tools like Cambridge Analytica, although not explicitly proven in the Indian context, underline how algorithms can manipulate electoral outcomes by shaping voter behavior. Equally, WhatsApp has become a significant vector for misinformation. From fake news about communal riots to election propaganda, the platform's encrypted nature makes it a double-edged sword. In states like Uttar Pradesh, WhatsApp groups have been used to both galvanize support and spread polarizing narratives. Moreover, social media algorithms often favor engagement over accuracy, amplifying sensationalist or divisive content. Research shows that platforms like Facebook were slow to act on hate speech in India, particularly against minority communities, raising concerns about their complicity in enabling government-aligned narratives, shaping public opinion in subtle yet profound ways. Number 6. Resistance and alternative narratives. Despite the hegemonic control of mainstream media, alternative media outlets, citizen journalism, and grassroots movements have emerged as counter-narratives to state-driven discourse. Alternative media platforms like The Wire, Scroll.in, and Newslaundry provide critical analyses of governance, challenging mainstream narratives. For example, The Wire's investigative report on the Pegasus spyware scandal provided a counter-narrative to the government's claims of non-involvement. Likewise, Khabar Lahariya, a rural women-led news outlet, highlights issues from marginalized communities, offering perspectives often ignored by mainstream outlets. Platforms like Twitter and YouTube have enabled citizen journalism to flourish. During the farmers' protests, independent journalists and social media users documented police brutality and countered state narratives. However, these efforts often face coordinated trolling and deplatforming, subjected to financial constraints, legal harassment, and digital censorship. Implications for democracy, media discourse, and governmentality in India form a triadic relationship that reflects the broader tensions of power, control, and resistance. As the media continues to mediate public and private lives, its dual role as a tool of governance and a platform for dissent underscores the complexities of democracy in a digital age. A critical engagement with media practices, ownership patterns, and regulatory frameworks is essential to safeguard democratic values and ensure that media serves as a site for genuine dialogue and accountability. A multi-pronged approach is necessary, including strengthening press freedom laws, encouraging public funding of independent journalism, promoting digital literacy to counter algorithmic manipulation and fake news. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe to our channel, Sociopedia.